To be recognized by the MLB Players Association without being drafted, without having connections, it's nothing but God. God, he opened this door for me.
One life collective, one life collective. Black premises, black privilege. When they ask what this is, tell them.
Welcome to the Black Privilege Podcast.
What's up, family? Welcome to the Black Privilege Podcast. I'm excited for the convo today, one about spiritual wellness. I'm here, I'm Baba, I'm with Matt.
What up, guys?
I'm with Tiger.
Here.
And I'm with our special guest today, Will.
Yo.
Will, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's your first time here, so definitely
I'd
love
ever
to intro you, but
Absolutely.
I think it's better for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name's Will Fantroy. I'm from Mount Holly, New Jersey. My background is baseball. Baseball is life for me. I coach, I mentor, I'm an instructor, so I train kids privately. I also work with the MLB. I do different community things with them, with some people like CC Sabathia, who I played on the Yankees. Shout out to the Yankees.
Even though they lost.
Yes, we're not going to talk about that one.
And I bet on the Dodgers, though. But.
And I'm an entrepreneur as well, so many different things. Next year, I'm looking to start a photography business on the side. So I do photography on the side. And that's really about it. Yeah.
Before I jump into the details and nitty gritty, I want to do our mental health check-in. So the question I have for you guys today is, what's one thing in this season of your life that's filling you up, and what's one thing that's draining you?
What's filling me up? I think it's just a season of gratitude. I try to practice gratitude always. So it's something, because it's like a daily practice for me, I always feel full. But what's draining me right now is just kind of like state of the world, for lack of better terms. Presidential election just passed as a Black woman. That felt heavy. So yeah, that's pretty draining, because when you are consuming all of the things that's on the media, on socials, etc., like, bro, I want a break.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So I'll piggyback off that. I'll say the same thing. In this season, I try to show a lot of gratitude. I wasn't always in the position that I'm in now, and I feel like with the voice that I have now, I'm able to spread my message. At one point in life, I wasn't able to do that. So I always want to show my gratitude, the doors that God opens up. And this all came from healing. When you look inside, when you heal first, that's where all your answers are. That's why they say, look to the book. Look to the Bible. Books can guide you, but your heart defines you. And Jay-Z said that. And so when I heard that, it really stuck with me, like, really find what's important to you, to that, no matter who you are, what your profession is. But I'll say what's draining me right now, again, everything that's going on in the world, because this past year, as I've got my faith a lot stronger, I've stepped back away from the world. Essentially, I don't really tap into a lot of stuff. A lot of things that go viral, I miss it. I see it on the back end, because the kind of person that I am, I'm not very opinionated.
Yeah.
And when I am in a very smart way. So not everybody's going to receive that. It's just going to be straight cut. What is and what ain't. That's the simplest way to live life. And we can allow things to continue to drain us, things like that, but it's up to us to make our lives simpler.
Word. I like that. You ready, Matt?
I'll start with the draining. What's draining is just like the time of the year. There's a lot of things that happen, and like there's obligations, and then you want to support, but then you also have to realize that you can't do everything. But you want to be supportive to the people who support you, and then also family. So that's a little draining. But I look at it like it's not all year round when you have to, interact as much. So it's like, all right, let me just do these couple of weeks and bang it out, and then I'll be able to have, quote unquote me time. Filling me up, I guess just being appreciative of the journey, and the lessons and I guess lessons, and I want to say mess ups or fuck ups, but they're all lessons. Just appreciating everything because at the end of the day, it's going to just help grow and me as an individual.
Awesome. For me, I'll say what's filling me up on the daily recently. I've been working on reading my Bible this year a lot more than I definitely have. And I think that on the daily, that helps fill me up and kind of like ground me a little bit. So that's been dope. And in addition to that, friends, around this like past month, do like kind of like a Bible study with a couple of friends and hanging out. So that's been really like helpful. Then what's draining me? I would say, people be draining. You know what I mean? You love them, you hate them, but like whether it's like people at work, like I was away for a little bit and I would say I came back, and it always happens when you go on vacation and go away from work and you come back and you be like, dang, I really pull up with this BS. Dang, why can't I be on vacation all the time? So I would say like this past week, that's what's really been draining me. But Danny, you mic'd up?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna swing the question to you.
What was the question?
The question was, what's filling you up and what's draining you? One thing that's filling you up, one thing that's draining you.
Food. I'm kidding. I don't know. Filling me up. What does that mean?
Like what's
Like fulfilling
that,
you?
Fulfilling you?
Yeah.
Something that
Or refill or recharge
charging
with it.
you.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I feel like work fills me and drains me.
All right.
That's
mean,
fair.
That's real.
Yeah, that's fair.
When you're doing something that you love,
Yeah. So
Honestly.
yeah, but it's also like it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
yeah, the answer is the same. For both.
Nah, I like that. Nah, but it's such a real perspective. Like what you love doesn't mean that it's not gonna come with its own challenges, and there's
Right.
not gonna be parts of the journey that sucks. I know you share all the time. Like when you be busy, like you do the work, you do the videography, then there's a part of like you got a ton of stuff to edit,
Yeah, exactly.
and then it becomes draining. So I appreciate that. But yeah, that's our mental health check-in. Wrap things up and we'll dive into the conversation. Like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about faith, talking about your own personal journey, what your views of faith are. So I'll swing it to Matt to kick us off.
All right, so pretty simple. When I heard of the topic of spiritual wellness, one of the first couple things that came to mind was how Sunday mornings, right? You wake up and you would hear a particular song. So my question to start things off is like, what is one song or artist that comes to mind when you growing up, like first person to come to mind?
Like to just listen to?
Like that you would hear Sunday mornings, like that certain in that Sunday morning playlist, like.
Oh, okay. Hezekiah Walker, James Fortune. I could keep going, but I'm gonna let y'all.
Give me a song, like one song like that you could remember, like.
One song that I could remember.
Yeah.
I Need You Now, Smokey Norfolk.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Will?
For me, it's still one of my favorites that get me through, no matter what I'm going through, whether it's a heartbreak, whether it's just the day-to-day life. Kirk Franklin, Brighter Days.
Oh, that's a good
I'll be
one.
a brighter day.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yep. There you go, Danny.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put that. We're gonna have to put that.
Put that in the... Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off the Kirk.
The Kirk.
Yeah. all I think about is, stomp.
I knew it.
I don't know. It's just something about
It's
it
a
that
good
just
song.
it just gets
It
you out
is.
your seat and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't help but not move.
Mine was "I Want My Destiny" by Fred Hammond, and then
That's a good one.
one that I think about often, like around Christmas time, that I would hear is "Just Remember" by Fred Hammond. But I had "Why We Sing" by Kirk Franklin and Stomp. Those are like the three that I think I would.
I feel like Kirk is the Beyonce of the gospel genre, to be honest. Because it's like, who doesn't know? And that's terrible to compare. So God forgive me. But like, you guys know what I'm saying?
yeah,
like,
he's that guy.
I mean,
that
everything
everybody
started
knows.
In
from
terms of
yeah.
influence, yeah, for sure.
Like,
Everything
For our
started
generation,
from
100%.
that
Yeah.
type of music anyway.
Kirk
so.
is that guy.
Yeah.
Evil pies.
Who would be up there?
Because I can't unsee it. I'm so sorry. Let me be serious for a second.
One of the funniest things I heard recently was on the Breakfast Club, right? And they were talking about Negro spirituals, and my man Charlemagne gonna be like, "Nuck if you buck" is a Negro spiritual. He's like, you listen to it, it's Jesus.
That's
Jesus
crazy.
bucking on the devil on through that.
No,
And I was like, as I listen, I'm like,
you're right.
you're right.
You're definitely right. That makes me think of I was just having a conversation with girls in my friend group, right? Because they had saw something on social media, and the guy had said that the Bible and the stories are nothing but a bunch of hood stories. So when you start looking at it from that lens and that perspective, like it kind of shifts and it makes it a bit more relatable to people who didn't grow up in the church.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was a guy who rode with 12 people on him at all times.
Yeah,
Peter was always
he
on
was
go.
deep.
Like
Yeah,
that's
Peter was
crazy.
so-
Like
Peter
when you
was
think
shy.
about it from that, it's just like
Yeah, it could have
Listen.
been possible. Like,
Yeah.
that's a crazy perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Low key disrespectful, but I could understand the relatability.
But
well,
the
depending
fact
on how you
about
spin
it, is it disrespectful? Because Jesus was about that action.
he
And
was.
Was.
yeah,
And
you
if
know?
you don't listen, you're going to
He
learn a
was.
lesson.
He was flipping tables.
Nah, but that's a fact though. But I guess to transition a little bit, were these like, I guess growing up, did you guys go to church? Like your parent, was that part of like y'all weekly thing?
Yeah. My parents, or my mom, my parents are divorced, but I would go to church with my mom on Sundays. And then I guess as I started, around the time going through puberty, learning myself, things like that, I kind of got away from church. Just growing into my own, my own entity. So kind of got away from church. God never left though. God was always there. And even within the past 2 years, going along my healing journey, that's when I was able to have the answers to those things from my childhood. Like, oh yeah, when the cops came, how come I didn't end up in jail like the other cats did? And, God kept me protected. And I'm so grateful for that, because any mishap then, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So I'm just so grateful for that.
What about right now?
Oh.
Or did you want?
no. I mean, right now,
Yeah.
to answer that question, periodically.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like when you grow up in the church and you've been there, like people can go to church once a week. Like some have to go twice a week, some have to go 4 times a week. So when you're in that position where you're going 3 and 4 times a week, I feel like you get burnt out of going to church, and you feel like, like I need a break from it to a degree.
Really?
And like Will said, like it never leaves you. The
Yeah.
lessons, the principles, the stories that your Sunday school lessons, it doesn't leave you, but it's like, I need a break. And then it's also like, do you really need to go to a actual building? That's just me. It's like I don't feel like
You need to be.
all the time.
So what was your experience? Did you grow up in the church as well?
Yeah, I went to church every Sunday. up until I had my own choice. Back then, it was like, hey, there was no, it wasn't, you live in my house, you gonna get
You're
up,
going to church.
we going to church. And, when I tried to push back, I messed around and found out.
You be going to church mad.
I'm going to church mad. So, like, that was, like, my thing. Then I would say around, like, college, honestly. College was probably when I kind of had more of that decision on whether or not to go to church. So, like, when I went to college, that's when I, like, stopped going to church for a good amount of time, partying, doing whatever. Probably was hungover on the Sunday, so that was the last thing on my mind to go do anyway. Then I would say not until probably the last 4 years, honestly, probably mainly COVID, I started like dabbling again. Like I would watch online. Then for quite some time, then finally I started going to church. But I liked what you like brought up, Matt, about the aspect of, do you actually have to be in a building to whether to be faithful, to be
Does that make you a Christian?
Being in a building?
Like
going to church?
if you don't go to an actual building?
I don't think the two correlate. And I feel like that's one of the problems in the church, because when you shun people away, or when you make people feel less than, or try to say that like, oh, because you didn't come to church except on Easter, that makes you less of a Christian and God loves you less, and like your faith is lukewarm. And two things can be true at once, right? I look at the church as a lighthouse. That's like a stationary building that's not going to go anywhere, and it's always going to help you find your way back. But you should emulate Christ. I should hear Christ when you're speaking. That is what being a Christian is. A building is just a building. Like church can be in your car. Church can be out in a field with a group of friends. Wherever God is invited, he will come. So, I mean, the building is nice always, because I feel like the church gives you community. And when you are either restarting your journey or when you are new to the journey, it's important to have community with like-minded people, folks that are going to like, check you and say like, yo, it's a little too worldly. Like you skating that fine line, you need to kind of reel it back. So the church is still important, but does it make me more or less Christian? No. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I think I agree with your perspective on like, no, it doesn't, like going to church doesn't necessarily make you Christian, but I would actually say the two go hand to hand. Maybe not church as a building, but rather church as community. Like, and I think that's what I really liked on your point, because I think there's one essence of like, God don't need to find me in a church to find me.
Facts.
I would say that when I finally like decided, it wasn't a situation like I came to church and I'm like,
The Tyler Perry
like,
movie.
that wasn't
Armed
that
up.
was in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Yeah, I watched that recently, but like, but nah, exactly. But I do feel like to grow or to like go deeper, I do think like the community aspect is important to like become stronger, like you said, like-minded individuals, people to hold you accountable, to push you, to like help you when you down.
Facts.
And you can find that without a building, but I think the community aspect of it is like the part that's really important.
Okay. Well, I got a question then to kind of build off that. So Maddie had just said that going 4 times a week can kind of burn you out, and it can kind of turn your stomach a bit, I guess. Is that what you were getting to?
Well, I guess that's more or less over a period of like 10 plus years. Like I'm speaking on that in that sense, like going that long, like, or we're at points in that maybe like half the time you were going that often. Maybe
Right.
the other half you were going a little bit less, but it was still like, all right, yo, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, and it wasn't like it was anything. I guess part of the reason why I got burnt out also is because, like you guys mentioned community. If there's nothing, if you're just going to church and then just like going home, it's like, yo, why the hell am I driving an hour? Like to come here just to sit and then just drive back home.
And
Like,
that's what it is. It's really, I think, with being a Christian, it's about the intention, because it's, I haven't had a church home in X amount of years, but I still found my way along my journey. I still find time to spend my time with God, whether that's journaling, just any way to ground my earth self with the spiritual self, because it's completely different. And there's two different lines you could walk. And, when trying to walk that spiritual line, it's important to be, I'll say, around like-minded people, because if you're not, you could go walk a different journey just off the sake of somebody that doesn't you have the same views as you. Then they'll be like, then they'll try to steer you wrong, or that might mess up your confidence and then mess up your own personal journey. And each one of us here in this room has a specific journey, has a specific whatever to add to, the mass of all of us in this, spiritual sense to make change.
I guess the question that was coming to mind was, being that we're talking about like to connect like the community aspect, like is it always the community always a healthy community to be a part of if you're a new, believer or whatever the case might be? Would it be better not to in some cases I feel like it might be better to start off, like Baba said, maybe watching the TV, and then like, cause not every place is going to be like fertile soil to actually grow as a Christian.
Nah, that's a real
Valid
statement.
point.
And I would say that where it really starts is your own relationship. Like, I think that's why I say it's like it goes hand in hand. Like, it's your own relationship first, because like what I will say is you need to understand your faith, your relationship with God, what his character is, what he's about first. Because what happens in like the church, especially when you're talking about community, some churches can be toxic, but the reason of that is people. It's people. People aren't perfect. People, they're working on themselves. But what can often happen is in these areas, they show up and you associate that with God.
Yep.
Instead of associate it with a person that's just broken, figuring life out just the same way as you. And that's why it's like you got to know God first, then understand that he's also doing the same thing in you that he's doing in other people. So I feel like that's where it can always kind of get, especially when you're early. That's why like you said, sometimes it does make sense to start out and just developing your own relationship first and trying to understand it. And if you're lucky, you find people that can also kind of help you figure it out, right? But
Do you believe in like church hunting?
oh yeah, church shopping for sure.
Hunting, shopping, whatever you want to call
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, 10,000%.
That's the reason why I'm not in one now.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it takes time, and honestly, I want to trust my faith and trust that calling. So I might have to go to 4 different churches,
Facts.
and I'd be lying if I said like I wasn't holding myself up. But it's because part of me wants to find the perfect church, but there is no perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
I just have to go, and a lot of times that's all God needs us to do, is just put forth that effort, and he'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
valid point. I get you.
Everybody's always on their own like faith journey, figuring things out. But how would you describe your relationship with God? What does that look like? I mean, Tiger, you were talking about God. You tell them her stories. You talk to God like he your homie. Or like, what's that relationship look like for you?
Absolutely. I talk to God as I would talk to all of my friends, just because Bible and God says, come as you are. So he knows his child, honestly, for lack of better words. So am I cursing and doing all of the other things? No, but I read my Bible. They call it the daily bread for a reason. So that's my intake. That's my meal. And whenever I feel as if I am slipping, or when I feel like, you know what, I just need to hear him a bit more. I'll listen to music. Well, actually, I listen to music consistently.
Yeah.
I just don't physically go to a building just because you guys had made the point before. You got a church hunt, and you have to be very careful of who you allow to speak into your life and pray over you, because demons are real.
That's real.
Satan was.
I gotta put this out there.
What?
I'm big on. I don't want everybody praying for me
And I feel that.
because,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna disclose the person's name, but every single time Sunday would come around and she said, "Yeah, I've been praying for you." No lie, that same day, I would either get pulled over, arrested, or
That's
something.
crazy.
So I was like,
But Matt, hold up. Because we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Just because she praying for you, don't mean her prayers wasn't misguided. Just because life ain't going
Yeah.
smooth and you were doing some
but
something,
all right.
don't mean her prayers were bad for you. Maybe,
No, but I guess
maybe your life was trying to get redirected, Brody.
No, look,
just
it was
look at
like-
it from another angle.
I'm looking at it like it wasn't like the times that I did get in trouble or like my car wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that I did like I'm breaking the law or anything. It's like, yo, like things just unfortunate happen that, and I'm like,
You
that
know?
lady said she prayed for me.
So
But how
you
do
correlate anything bad in your life happening with whatever that
No, it
woman
was-
says?
It was just
Like those specific moments, like,
yeah,
okay,
it
when
was
she
like,
says,
because
"I
it was the
pray
same
for
day.
you."
It was like the same day, like type. It
I
wasn't
understand it.
24 hours, like.
you know?
I don't agree, but I understand it.
Hold
But
on,
I'm
before
ju- I'm
we
just-
first on, we got a guest. We got a special guest.
Oh, he
Yeah,
heard the
here we
words.
go.
Then-
Here we go.
You
Yeah, I
hopped
just
in?
yo, what's up?
He
What's
was
good, y'all?
pressed in
What's
the
good,
back.
y'all?
He was like, "Yeah, I
Y'all
gotta
asking
hop
some
in
good
on
questions.
this
Talk
shit."
about spirituality. I just wanted to hop in real quick.
All right,
Real
that's
quick,
what's
real
up,
quick.
Mike
So what's up,
Cole.
yo? What's going on? What's
Yo,
going on?
yo,
Yo,
yo.
this has been a dope conversation. I'm just watching from the back. So it's different being on the back side, and then so I just want to hop in, get my
Real quick.
real quick.
I feel that.
But nah, like I don't know who was about to go after Tiger, but go ahead.
Nah.
No, go ahead.
I mean, you can answer the questions. A couple of the questions. Do you currently go to church? And then growing up, what was one song? Like
I don't gotta go through all of them.
no, I'm just
Yeah,
giving
no.
you two questions real quick. What's one song? Like
Oh, I got one. I would say "Superstar" by Ty Tribbett.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Ty Tripp is another one.
that John be hitting. Like, when he says, "I just love you, Lord, I love you for who you are." It's just like, I don't have to be a superstar. Like, I don't have to be somebody great. Like everybody prays for like, a mountain on, like a house on the mountain,
Yeah.
things of that nature. Everybody wants riches and fame. But, like a relationship with God is just a little bit more important.
And
So,
you know what's crazy? I heard something about greatness, just tidbit that was like mind blowing. They're like, like people be so stressed about being great, but they're like greatness really reserved for God. Like good is good enough. Like when you think about like Jesus, if you talk about Jesus, like he was the example of great. And there's nobody else like him. So it's like we strive for greatness, but really maybe God all he asking you to be is just good enough.
Nah, that's facts. That's
yeah,
facts.
I like that.
Devil's advocate a little bit, though.
All right, go ahead.
A little bit, just slightly.
Yeah.
You on your
Because
Kanye? You about to be on your Kanye?
no, I love Ye, but I love old Ye. But no, if God is our father, right? God created us.
Yeah.
Similar to your earthly mom and dad. You half dad, half mom. It's genetic, it's scientific. So what God teaches us and why we should be reading the Bible and why we have the book is because like he wants us to be more like him. So I feel that like you absolutely can achieve greatness. I feel that people give themselves that title very prematurely. And maybe, you don't have the right group around you to tell you, bro, I love you, but great, So I think that like, no, greatness is achievable. I don't think anyone is just good because that's a ceiling, like.
But do you know what it is?
And
though?
that, just to
And
add,
that-
just to add
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
go ahead,
and
go
like
ahead.
you were talking about God, right? It's great, right? We are all gods with a little G. But you gotta look at it like that. So you can achieve greatness.
the third thing I'll say is about this.
Right.
Understand that we can talk about God is greatness and he is in each and every one of us.
Facts.
But it's the aspect of for us to reach greatness, reading the Bible, it's about that consistent relationship with him.
Okay.
That's through him you reach that greatness.
Yes.
But what can often happen is people will believe they great
Yes.
then forget I did this. I
They
did that. So
become
I
more
think it's
worldly.
like a little mix of that. Yes, but it's heavy on like, hey, like spend time with him. You know what I mean? You kind of need his to reach that greatness. But I like that.
Hold on, I remember what the question you had just asked Tiger about how you talk to God. And I ain't gonna hold you. I'll be talking to him like he like one of my niggas.
Yo, you the reason I asked that question because you said it a couple times.
My kind of question.
Yeah. Yo, for real, I'll be in the shower. Like I wake up, I'll be like, hey, yo, Lord, yo, today. And I try to, obviously we talking about spirituality, so I try to make sure that I'm more respectful for the man above.
Facts.
But like I'll be like, hey, yo, nigga, yesterday was a horrible day. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I just be like, hey, yo, listen, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this sugar honey iced tea, but bro, like I need you. Like, give me wisdom. So that's how I be talking to him. I just like, I talk to him like he one of the homies, but that's just my experience, man. Like, they say like God he's like a friend. He's like a father. He's, like all those things. Like, I mean, I talk to my pops like that. He be like, yo, watch your mouth. But like, God ain't gonna say that to me. Nope. He might be like, all right, enough is enough. But like, I ain't got to deal with that.
Or he ain't gonna say nothing. He just gonna show you a lesson.
Yeah, he just gonna show it. Nah, facts though.
You gonna
facts,
be shown like.
But nah, that's just my communication style, and I think it kind of changed. And I think like one of the best things I learned was when I went to Change Church, and you guys were talking about like, well, you said church hunting, but like church shopping, if we want to call it, whatever y'all say it is. But one thing I actually appreciated is that he actually took time to kind of teach people how to pray. And so like for me, I try to be consistent. Some days I just like, I wake up and I'm rushing and I'm about to pray. So I try to keep it short, but I always start off with gratitude. Like every single time I'll be like, yo, thank you for being my protector, my friend, all that stuff before I go into my ask. But most of the time my asks are like, give me an opportunity. Like, I know we probably mentioned this maybe in a prior episode, but I always remember Bruce Almighty. And when Morgan Freeman was trying to get him to understand like God, he was like, do you think people just give you patience? No, he gives you opportunities to be patient. So I think about that. So I don't ask him, yo, God, can you make me patient? I'm like, give me opportunities to
be patient.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta be
that's how
careful
it
what you
works.
pray for, because when you're like, God, I want to be patient, he be like, you want to be patient?
No, you sure?
Oh man.
And
Then your world gets set on fire.
Yeah,
Nah,
and you're like, why am I going through this? Or you like, God, give me that role, and then
he
you
give it
like,
to you.
yo, he
And
give
like
it
you
to
said,
you.
like-
Then you like, bro, I hate this.
And then that's
And
when you gotta
and
use the
somebody gotta
wisdom.
remind you pray for
Okay,
that.
so I did ask
You
for
pray
this.
for that.
Let me
Exactly.
calm down.
Yeah, and outside of that, outside of me asking him for opportunities, I ask him, allow me to learn something new.
Yeah.
And then I ask him, allow me to be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when I go and ask him for all the stuff that I actually really want. Because I've been told, like, he ain't going, like you say, what they say, a closed mouth.
Get fat.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, at some point, all right, I need to, there are things that I'm in need. So,
Yeah.
yeah, to answer your question.
Yeah, he said you have not because you ask not. So I mean, you gotta put it out there.
Word. I guess this is a good one. And I think this is one that sometimes makes it difficult for people to align with God or feel some type of way. Have you ever prayed for something that he didn't exactly give you the way you expected it?
Well, start that one because I already looked at you and knew.
Yeah, 100%. Since I started playing baseball, I always wanted to attend a home run derby, All-Star Week, to any capacity. And then this year, within healing and finding myself again and really going down this journey with God and putting him first and truly being intentional, because that's what's important. We have to set the intention. You have to set the intention. And what that looks like is like, do I want to just show up to church, just showing up to a building? Or do I want to show up to church ready to receive? Because if I'm not ready to receive when I step through those doors, you're wasting your time. That's, but I'm not just going to say, you're wasting your time. But even if you don't know where to find the answers, things like that, you still, okay, I'm ready for change. Because when it comes, we don't know how it's going to come when we ask for a blessing or things like that. But to get back on track, God told me to think bigger, and this year I had the opportunity to attend All-Star Week. Appreciate it. But not only did I just go to the home run derby, the first night was an HBCU game. The best college baseball players got to play on the same field that MLB players get to play on for All-Star Week. I walk into a suite. First person I see is Kirk Franklin. So shout out to Kirk Franklin.
No way.
Yes, I know. I had the same reaction. Hold up. Kirk Franklin at a baseball game is the first person I see.
Yeah.
And just the night before, I posted it on my story, just giving thanks. I was sitting at the hotel rooftop. I'm just looking out at the skyline, and I'm just giving my gratitude. Like, I'm really here. Then it went from that to, doing different community things. Then I went to the home run derby. Now I'm actually at the home run derby, sitting second row, right?
Okay.
And sitting in front of me,
good view.
sitting in front of me is a VP for Adidas, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'll post a video on my Instagram. You can follow me, YABOII Will _
Shameless plug. Let's go.
because people won't believe this, and I've held all this stuff in. Just been waiting to share this kind of stuff. And while not only did I sit second row, so a little backstory, being that we were sitting there, it was like VIP. So there was a lounge, like under the stadium. It was the craziest thing. Had a wristband, go down there, unlimited drinks, unlimited food. Please don't tell me that, because yes, I got a couple drinks. Let me get two, and I'm going back to my seat. Did that. So yeah, I'm a little lit. And I wanted to try and be professional, things like that, because I still wanted to network. So I wanted to enjoy myself, but I didn't want to get out of whack. So let me go get some food. So I'm sitting there, and then take a couple bites. Next thing you know, comes walking is a player that I used to root for as a kid. He used to play for the Yankees. His name is Curtis Granderson.
Oh, wow.
And he invites me to this party. MLB party by MLB Players Association. So I'm like, dope. He says, you come to the party tonight? Just casually talking. And I'm like, yeah, I might, but I don't know if I have the credentials. Like, I don't know. I was like, I heard about the party, but I don't know. And pulls his phone out, no lie. Pulls his phone out, and he's like, yeah, let me see. And scrolls up, and I'm literally third name on the list.
Oh, word.
So I said, to be recognized by the MLB Players Association without being drafted, without having connections, it's nothing but God. God, he opened this door for me. And this was a childhood dream that I'm living out every single day. I've always wanted to travel. I've always loved to travel, right? So God put it together where I can travel, give back, and do my passionate stuff with baseball, which opens so many doors. I've met so many different people. And now I'm, here with you guys to, share the story that I, in my private time, spend a lot of time alone, so I don't really get to share my journey like that. So I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Congratulations, dude.
I got to clap up, but it's a safe
Thank
space. You went back to your room that night and shed a tear of joy.
Oh,
Don't
100%.
lie. Yeah,
I know you was
100%. 100%.
Like a look.
100%.
That's what's up.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for you.
100%.
That's amazing.
That's so sweet.
And
Also.
it's big to me because it's like I'm from Mount Holly, New Jersey, and as people, you guys went to RV, so you guys know, like, there are a lot of people passed away in high school, and we always said, there's a curse around here. There's a curse in Mount Holly. It's a curse around this area. It just feels just dark. So I really believe that God shines through me, and I'm a vessel to show kids in our area in South Jersey it's possible to make it out. Yeah. Keep believing. I also play professional baseball. The first opportunity I had to do that was at 29 years old. I was living in Mexico last year. I was the oldest guy there. Did that stop me from balling out down there? No. All these kids down here, 20, 19, talking about college stuff. I'm like, bro, I ain't been in college in like 10 years. I didn't want to share it. I had my 29th birthday down there, but it was great. But it's just the confidence that God gives you to just step in that room like you belong. And that's where it is. No matter who's in the room, flesh don't matter. Does not matter. As long as you step in that room like you belong, everybody, you'll be good. So
I love that because it's in his timing, right? Like and you never know why, because I'm sure there's probably times when you're like, dang, when's it gonna be my shot? But
2 years ago, I almost stepped away entirely. And people like,
That's
wow,
crazy.
you work with the MLB now, and you almost so stepped away. Like, I almost stopped playing. And that was when my son was born, COVID. I was heavily depressed, and this is when my healing journey started. And I asked to be healed. I literally remember sitting on my couch. I was so depressed. Like, I just had those negative thoughts like, bro, I'll go walk in front of a car today. Like, to really like sit there and just sit on the couch and after a hard day at work and sit there and really think that is not any place anybody should be.
That's real.
Um,
I love that. Oh, I love good stories like this, man. It's
yeah,
always
so
nice.
it's been a long, tough journey to the point where like now I'm not willing to sacrifice my happiness. I'm not willing to sacrifice my peace. And some people, they play with that.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to, when you love yourself, sometimes people will be like, oh, you're too arrogant. Oh, you're too much of yourself. But no, I'm really just protecting myself because who is? Nobody else is going to protect me like I'm going to protect myself unless you find somebody that loves you. And what I say true love is somebody that's going to protect you from you. Because if that person can't protect you from you, do they really love you? And I'm not going to say, do they really love you, but they may not be capable to protect you in that kind of way. So
That I need to hear some more good stories. So I got a question for y'all. You know what I mean? We'll just share what it looked like to really know God was real. Anybody else got some good stories? Come on.
Yo, I mean, we done talked about this, John. Like, and it's crazy because I was just at Lock Bar with my mom yesterday. She was fiending for some oysters, and I ain't never been there before. To my girl, I'm sorry. I know we weren't able to go first together because she been wanting to go there for a minute. So it is what it is. But we went, and we ended up, me and her, we just catching up. I haven't been able to because the law school is always busy. But I thought about this too, and she just kind of reminded me of it. She was just like, like God has favor on your life, and many times like you don't recognize it, or maybe you don't want to magnify it as much because maybe you got a whole lot of things that are going on. But like I really have noticed it, and my moment was law school, getting in. I don't think. I guess like every single time you think about like opportune times, many times you're just like, is that just like by luck, or is that just by His grace? And I was like, yo, there's no way. I remember, and I think I told y'all this. Like, I remember I was sitting on the bridge. I had just got a denial from I think it was Brooklyn Law School. I'm sitting here, I'm like depressed. I'm like, what? And I'm still waiting for I'm still on the waiting list for Rutgers. I'm on the bridge. I'm listening to, and I told Matt about this. It's a song called Put Me On by Jordan Lucas. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yo, like, and I say a prayer to God. And then like something just prompted me, like, reach out to your friend who goes to law school. You were supposed to go see her and do an informal tour. I did that, hit her up. She hit me back like immediately. And I took off work. I remember I took off work that Monday because I was like, yo, if I could take off work for anything else, take off for this, because this is something that I prayed to God for and I wanted. And I remember I went back in my apartment with my shorty. She was just like, Mike, like maybe it might not work. And she was just trying to console me, trying to like, but she was like, don't give up. And so I was just like, you know what, forget it. Like I took off work, went, she gave me the tour. It just so happened that by the time we finished the tour, we stopped by the dean of admissions, and he was there on his way to leave. He was like, I'm heading out, but he was like, I'll take some time. We talked 5 minutes, introduced myself. And I reached out to him. I remember Matt was with me, emailed him. He reached out to me, replied within like an hour. Set up a call the next day. He asked me a few questions and offered me my acceptance on the phone. literally the next day.
Let's go.
Literally the next day. So it was just like,
Love that.
he was like, yo, you've shown like, you know, that you really want this. But I was just like, man, like God is good. Cause I took an opportunity where, like you were saying, you almost quit. I took an opportunity where like, and I was beating myself up like, yo, like, nah, this might not work out. And then I think there was this mental fortitude that he gave me. And I was just like, nah, like this, you said you wanted this.
Yep.
So what are you going to do about that? You just going to sit and be sad about it? Or are you going to do something about it?
Faith without works type vibe.
Fact, no, for real. Faith without works is real. So that's what and that's my story. And like I continue to see that even when I'm in law school, like people, the opportunities that are just opening up for me.
Yeah.
And all I got to do, like you said, faith with works. So utilize the network, but also like make sure I kill it in my classes and be consistent. So yeah, that's mine.
Question for you.
What's up?
How do you like it now? Like, how do you like this law school?
Oh, well,
And it's kind of like a two-part question because I know I kind of got a feeling that you're going to say that you love this law school. And that's because, you know, where we go through that rejection, it's redirection. So that might have been more on your calling for this school versus the one that you may have wanted more. But what God has in store for you is down that path.
Was Rutgers one of your top schools?
well,
or-
when I first started, no.
Word.
My first choices were like UPenn, Columbia, Villanova. And when I went through like, you know, the research process of looking at schools, like top ranked, all that stuff, doing my research, Rutgers was probably like number 7 on that list. By the time I kind of like got in my head what I wanted to do, I talked to a few attorneys, which God also put me, like, I feel like everything that I've done over the last like 3 or 4 years has kind of been like a setup to place me and position me where I'm at right now. But yeah, it wasn't. It was through that research that like Rutgers kept pushing itself up and up to the fact that it actually became top 2.
See?
And to answer your question, yeah, I went through rejection. I did. But like for me, you're absolutely right. Like law school is hard. It's actually absolutely stressful. There's been days I done teared up. Like just off the strength, I'm just like, yo, like the learning curve in the beginning, you don't, people say it's hard, but you have to go do it.
You have to go through
You got to go
to
do it.
know.
Anything that's worth having is worth fighting for. So like, you know, it's going to be like a journey.
Yep.
And then you also have like you're doing school, but then you still have life. You still have your friends, your
Right.
family, obligations, love, what, you know, all that stuff. Like what Matt was talking about like earlier in his mental health check-in, you know, just wanting to be there, support people.
Yeah.
Go do that stuff. But to finish off, to answer your question, and you know, I'll finish. What I'll say is this: is that like I'm where I need to be.
Absolutely.
The school I'm at is nothing but community. I love the people that I go to class with. I'm a part of the social justice scholars cohort. Like, and you guys were talking about the election. Obviously, like we just enacted like a whole action plan where we're trying to get shit on and popping to let people know about their rights under this era of Trump. You know, because you know reproductive rights, women's rights, all those different things are under
important.
attack. So we want to be able to equip people with the law and knowledge of their rights.
so important.
So I'm where I'm where I need to be. And
100%.
misdirection ended up being where I.
Yep.
So yeah,
Props to you.
yeah.
Props
Thank
to
you, thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all.
So, what is your God is real moment? Because I'm very
Oh,
curious.
my real moment? My real moment was a real journey. I think sometimes, like Mike had brought up, sometimes it's like being reflective and seeing the different pieces of where he's shown up consistently. I'll say the number one for me and was around COVID. So, and this might be long-winded, so sit down,
Safe
be
space.
patient.
It's okay.
All right. So for me, right before COVID, I was living in Seattle, right? And I remember I was praying to God, like I wasn't really feeling my role. I was doing photography on the side. I was trying to figure out what was next, but I was working in supply chain. And I was like, yo, this isn't me. Like I want something a little more creative. So I decided I wanted to do like product design. And I decided I wanted to go back to school. But Amazon was my first job out of school, so it was also my identity in some ways. And I'm sure you guys have been there. And I was like, yo, I don't know if I could if I can take this next step to like quit, go to school. But after a couple of weeks, couple like good people around me that pushed me to just trust in it, and like I felt like that's what God was telling me to do. I quit. Then maybe like a week later, I ended up in a situation where I got pulled over for drinking and driving, right? And the first time I felt God was real was it was COVID, so I had gotten like arrested, and I'm in this cell, and I'm trying to call Bill's person to get me out. Nobody picking up, and I remember then I was like kind of dabbling in church, so I go into the cell and I pray to God. I'm like, yo, God, I won't drink again if you get me out of this situation, right? Then after that, I get out. The next person I call picks up. So that was like number one where I was like, yo. And the bull's like, yo, you got bread? I was like, and there I'm in Seattle, so I ain't got nobody's number memorized to go pay. I'm like, nah, I ain't got bread, but my credit card's in my pocket that they took from me. And he like, and I wasn't sure if he could get it. He's like, all right, don't worry, I'm gonna sign out your stuff. I'm gonna hold it out. I get out. And at that moment, yes, I was happy I was out, but I was like, dang, I just made a promise to God that I won't drink again. So like since then, like, so probably like 4 years now, I haven't drank. So that was like my first thing. Then during COVID, people losing their job. I'm going through school. I'm not working for a couple months, and I'm just like in my head, Amazon booming, stocks is going up, they delivering everything. And I'm like, did I just make the dumbest decision of my life? Like I'm working at a startup. I'm not getting paid. I'm like, dang, I'm taking L's all around. Like, I'm like, but same thing. You asking yourself on this journey, God, I'm like, God, you told me I should do this. But it's crazy. So I'm at this startup, but it ended up like where I'm working now. One of the guys there worked at the company that I'm working at now. He was an advisor to that company. And I gave some presentation. And at that time, he's like, yo, I don't know if, you looking for a job or anything, but we hiring. And at that point, I don't know, I should have jumped at it, but I was a little stubborn. So I chilled for a little bit. Then a couple months passed by. I'm like, yo, my pocket's looking real skip. So I reached back out. To him. And he's like, yeah, we still got the job for you. Then I was like, do y'all got a job for like a designer? And he was like, yeah, actually, we was about to hire our first in-house one. You interested? And from there, I got this job. I ended up getting paid more than I was at Amazon.
Wow.
And it wasn't like I planned to ever be in this company. It's in advertising. Like, I ain't know nothing about advertising or like, but it was my first role. But I think those moments were like the setup. Like, I didn't know where I was supposed to go, but I was willing to move. Like, I was willing to put my faith in taking that step, or like separating my identity from my job and taking a risk and trusting. So in those moments, I feel like I found God to be very real. But the realness of it also is just because you're taking the journey with God doesn't mean it's going to be easy either. And I think that's the realest part I learned. Like, you might be doing the right thing, you might be doing the thing you're supposed to do, but doesn't mean that the journey won't have its own bumps or like detours, or like it's gonna go perfect. Like, and I love like what Danny has said and what Mike kind of said is like something you're doing that fills you up or you love can also be the thing that's giving you the most stress in the same situation. So I feel like that's kind of been where I've seen God the most, especially in those situations where it's been hard.
Wow.
Love that.
What's up? Why you over here?
It's a shirt turn.
What's the question?
What was your God is real moment?
God is real moment.
I mean, I had a couple God is real moments. I mean, when I got hit in the head with a golf club,
Who hit you in the head?
the person to the left of me.
It was an accident.
But it was an accident.
All
It was an
right.
accident.
Don't,
It was an accident.
don't make
okay.
Mike seem like he
okay.
just came
Accident.
after you all crazy.
God is real moment for you? Well, I mean, hey, you almost look at I
Hey,
don't
you
know.
can't argue his testimony, bro.
His feelings are valid.
And then God is real moment number 2 was when I got into a car accident, and I made it out alive. And I knew God was real.
I love you,
Don't
that
ask who
a man
that-
of so many words.
Mhm.
You're not going to expand?
Well, I mean, the way that it all happened was the person fell asleep at the wheel. You know, like, so anything could happen. You know, like, but thankfully nothing happened. Well, something did happen, but I made it out alive. You know, we both made it out alive.
We love the Koch brothers. We
You
love
feel
them
me?
so much.
I've learned two
I
things.
did not expect that to.
Yeah,
Neither
me
did
either.
I.
Well,
It's
I was just
okay.
looking at it like, you know, your God is like a near-death experience. God is real. You know, like
Oh, because you're
that's
still
how
here.
I'm looking at it. Like not, you know, me getting into a situation or because a lot of that is like to a degree self-inflicted. You know, there's always warning before destruction. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the times we put ourselves in those positions, it's not God is real. It's God's been warning us, we ain't listen.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I looked at the question.
I feel there's realness in that, though. He's been warning us, but I think that in those situations, like the realness is like what could have been. Like, you know, you get yourself in trouble, but the outcome, did you end up like locked up for a long time, or did you come out, or like I also, yeah, I think it's kind of both, right?
I mean, everybody has an opinion, all right?
All right.
So I mean, I guess that's agreeing to disagree. I guess. I just think that I don't necessarily agree 100% to that. You know, like
And that's all right.
And that's
like,
totally
no,
fine.
because I'm just thinking like
I just
yeah,
in the
no,
perspective
I'm just
to that.
saying as far as like because you're saying you could have gotten in more trouble.
Things could have
or
been always be
or
worse. Things can always
Yeah.
be
Okay.
worse than they actually are, and there's a blessing in that, right?
Facts. That's my God
Okay,
is real
okay.
moment. It's one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your
Go,
guys?
go ahead.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I forgot I did have to talk. Long story short, because I don't want to be it's personal. I'm not good with sharing personal information. But back in the day, I was no more than like 9 or 10. We used to live in Willenboro, actually. I lived in Rittenhouse. I'll never forget it, 23 Roxburn. It was around like the Thanksgiving, Christmas time, so the holidays. But our house caught on fire, and we were all in it. And y'all know I have a lot of siblings. I'm the middle of 5, and my parents, as always, they take in anybody. So like if my friend needs a place to stay, no problem. So at the time, it was my dad's brother's kid, so my cousin. He was also staying with us, and then my other little cousin, she was in and out. So it's like 7 kids in the house, or like 6 kids in the house, and then my 2 parents. We were all watching a movie. I was grounded. So I was in my room. But it was like I'm falling asleep, and 2 minutes later, literally everything's on fire. Like it was complete smoke. I just remember my dad screaming to the top of his lungs, like, "Whoa, tighten up." I've never heard my dad scream like that. Like, and that signaled that something was like really, really wrong. So he's like running upstairs to get me because I'm the only one upstairs and everyone is getting out, and he's trying to make sure that like I also get out. So I did get out, obviously, 31, still standing, but we lost everything. And when I say everything, like I was barefoot. I didn't have a jacket on. No one had a jacket on. I was in my pajamas, like, and everybody was. So in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, our house and how Rittenhouse is set up, the house adjacent to it, both completely inflamed. Like, but I'm like, I don't even know. I know I was like maybe third or second grade. So, bro, my books are in there. Like, that's what I'm concerned about because it just wasn't really clicking. Like, bro, I have stuff to do. Like, I got homework. Dang, my teacher gonna yell at me. I'm not in the mood. My honor roll is gonna be in jeopardy. Like, and I'm in the gifted program. I'm thinking like, I'm a failure now. I'm losing everything. Like it just didn't click. So I went to my godparents' house. We all did. And that kind of started a really long struggle of us being homeless. There's not another way to put it. We lived in the Econo Lodge, all 9 of us, I think, like 8, 9 of us, because the number kind of fluctuated for a while. And we lived off of donations from people, like community. It wasn't our family. It was friends. It was like people who really didn't know us because it ended up in a paper. Like my parents got a lot of kids, so I mean, it was definitely an insane time. But there were family members who didn't even help, didn't even bat an eye. We were able to stay with one of my mom's cousins in Philly for a bit, but she had us staying in an unfinished basement on a cold floor, and both my younger siblings has asthma, and we almost lost the both of them as well because of that. I mean, it's the winter, it's brick. Literally, that was when we actually still got snow. When November, December, like,
Was cold.
bro, it's like 10 degrees outside. Like it's not a game. So I use that kind of as a building block for my faith, because a lot of times I felt like there's no way that there's some magical man in the sky that sees this, knows that like we have nothing. Like who stays in a hotel room, 2 full beds, and all these kids, like we got to utilize the floor, we got to utilize the chair, and we're piled up. And my parents are like stressing because, bro, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because everybody still got to go to work. We still got to get the kids to school, and we are shuffling in between places. And how do you explain this? And it's also like very humbling to walk into your child's school like, my daughter may not have XYZ, or like, I know she had a book bag and she had all these books and the books were expensive, you know? I can't afford to pay you back the $200-$300 because, I mean, they need jackets, clothes, the whole 9. So when we start really getting donations in, when other family members, like my grandparents, they stepped in. So we were in Philly for a bit. We were like jumping from house to house. It really started to shift my perspective because I grew up in a church. My dad's mom was a reverend. My mom's grandfather was a bishop. Like, I grew up watching him pray in a closet for like 15 hours a day, no jokes. Like, he's downstairs screaming and shouting, and I always thought like, is he okay? Like, because it just didn't make sense. I was young, so I'm like, why are you yelling? I don't understand why you're yelling, and why are you saying hallelujah? Why are you screaming? Why are you pounding? Like, it didn't make sense. So when I started to really connect the dots, and I understood why my parents kept us in church so much, why my mom prayed as much as she did, why I wake up and my forehead is greasy. It's just like
That praying oil.
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's the middle of the night and she's over me and like she's screaming and she's crying, and it's like, bro, I don't know how to help you right now. And I'm not understanding that it's like she's just having a moment with God. And I just gotta relax and let her do her thing. And it's incredible because those prayers that she prayed, that my grandmother's prayed, and they're not even here anymore, I know they're still protecting me. So anytime that I have like near-death experiences, I'm getting into schools, I'm in rooms with people that like, that's crazy. I was in a room with Jay-Z. Like I have stories for days. Okay, I'm on first name basis with people that's like, you serious? There are people that I can call and they're going to answer the phone. And these are people that have like certain positions of power. And it's not even about their title. It's more so me understanding like
Who you are.
a little girl that was once literally homeless. I had nothing. My whole family, we had nothing. This is why I always give free game, which is why, like, listen, I will give anybody anything. If you ask me for 20 and I got it, I'll double it. I'll give you 40. Like, if you need a place to stay, don't even worry about it. Like, I got a second bedroom. If you need to borrow my car, if you need, like, help to get a car, these are things that's, like, I pride myself on not only being a woman of her word, but being a woman that, like, listen, you can count on me. In my little small corner of the world, i.e. around here, like, my word means something. Just how, like, back then we had to depend on the word of people we ain't even know. And I had to look family in the face and know that, like, yo, you ain't do a damn thing. you saw that, you had the power to do that, and you were the first person screaming and shouting, jumping in the church. Cause I saw you. Like I'm second pew. I can see it, and you did nothing. And I know you were well within your power to do so, and you didn't. So I will never forget that God is so real. God is incredible, and that I'm here thriving and breathing today because he was real.
Nah, I appreciate you for like sharing that with us because that was deep.
Yeah.
That was deep. I think everybody has
I'm proud
shared
of you
like a
for
great
sharing that,
and
'cause
I
it's not
appreciate
easy.
y'all for letting me hop in as I did, and I'll
Of course.
after exit after this. But one thing I did want to bring up and hearing your if you want to call it a testimony is that I think that the best showing of your relationship with God is how you treat others.
Yep.
Facts.
You know, and they say this in the Bible. I can't directly quote it, but how can you love someone who you've never seen, but then hate, the people or show, dislike and hurt to those that you see on an everyday basis. And I've had conversations with multiple people, even with my mom. I think like my test for me in showing like my love for God is just how do I treat people? Obviously you get upset with people, you have conflicts, but overall, like in your day to day, are you showing love? Are you being patient? Are you being giving?
Yep.
I think that's the greatest testament of your relationship with God and the love that you have for him, because if not, then I mean, I used to see that all the time. I used to see a lot of people who claim they were Christians, not even just Christianity, people who claim they were spiritual, believed in God, but like the way they treated people was just like
It just
Yo.
didn't match
Yeah.
to the point where
Mouth
you're
full
like,
of scripture and a heart full of hate is crazy.
yeah,
That's
that-
really what it is.
facts,
literally.
facts.
Yeah,
But I love y'all. I love y'all.
I just have one more one question. Like what is one lesson or like one thing that you have taken away from going to church? Like one principle or like one scripture that you live by. Something that you've taken like and actually used.
I think I'll kick it off. I think that one thing for me is going to church isn't about like tradition, right? A lot of people go to church and even when I think about when I was young, I did it out of tradition. Like I did it because it was the thing that we were supposed to do. It was the place I needed to be every Sunday. But the principle I really keep closest to me, it's about like my heart posture. What's in my heart? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about people? How do I handle like my ego and my humble and my heart? Because I think no matter whether you go to church all the time, whether you're doing things for people, it really depends what your heart and intention is behind it. Because I could be someone that's generous, but am I doing it for the right reasons? I could be somebody that's helping someone, but if you don't help me back, now I'm upset with you because you didn't reciprocate it. So I could be going to church, then I'm not actually living any of the principles that I learned in church or applying into my life.
Gotta
So
practice
I'll
what
say
you
that's the
preach.
biggest principle for me. Like if you can make sure where you're coming from in your heart, all that stuff will express outwards properly.
What about you, Danny?
Everything about that I know about God, I know from church. So that's something. And I don't want you to. I don't want to get it twisted. Like I love my faith, and I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ. So I definitely, scripturally, everything I know is from church. But those realest moments are when I wasn't there. The realest moments when I truly knew God, I wasn't there. So it's just funny how that works when you feel like you're drifting away, and it's like, nah, God got you. Like
That's
he
when
really
he's the
does.
closest.
That's what he's chasing you.
Literally.
Right, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just like one thing that from going to church, have you learned like or a scripture that you live by or something of that sort.
A guy that I'll follow on Instagram, catch his videos here and there. I forget his name, but he says something like, treat yourself as you would want somebody else to treat you, right? So really what that means to me is I have to love myself before I can expect somebody else to love me any certain kind of way. And then when I do that, right, so I love myself, I love who I am, things like that, being kind, and it just becomes second nature to be kind, like, you know, like how we spoke about, you know, family will sometimes watch you go through a struggle where you could tell that same story to a stranger and they'll give the clothes off their back, they'll give the money right out their pocket. I had a situation like that. And I was traveling with the MLB, and the job that I was working, they didn't pay me yet. So I was waiting on that. And this is the whole redirection and being delayed kind of thing. Ended up missing my flight coming back from an event. So I had to get a hotel for another night. I'm all the way in Louisiana, no money, right? So I'm stressed. And MLB, the way it works, like they'll take care of the hotel. So I was really stressing about, okay, how am I going to even get to the hotel that's already paid for? Because I'm like, bro, I have no money right now. Yeah. I tell this woman, and she literally handed me $30 out her pocket, and I'm literally telling her, like, nah, you don't have to do that. Like, I got God, I'm cool. Like, I have a place to lay my head. I finally figured it out after being frustrated, sitting out front of the airport. I'm like, how am I going to get here? So I tell the agency, can you find a hotel that has I'm like, I seen a hotel shuttle from the airport, so that'll be my way, you know. So now I'm like, all right, I'm cool. I don't need money. I'm going to the hotel. So now we're in the shuttle together. Tell her my story. Yeah, I missed my flight, things like that, low on money. But and she ended up handing me money. And I've been in situations where I've struggled and family wouldn't help me. And, you know, that same family will reach out constantly asking for my help. And transparently, like, part of me feels guilty for kind of like standing on a boundary, like, just because, you know, I have a certain success now doesn't mean like I'm a charity case. Because when I was down and out and I needed help and things were reversed and, you know, I didn't receive that help. So like part of me is like, I give freely to anybody to, you know, I'd give the clothes off my back. I don't gatekeep any information I have. I try to share that. And I'm a strong believer in God sometimes blesses us to bless others. It might not even be for us. The wisdom that I'm learning, what we're speaking today, might help somebody 10 years from now, might help somebody tomorrow, might help somebody yesterday. So when I think of things like that, it's just, how can I be authentic? How can I spread love authentically? So I had to, you know, start telling myself in the mirror, I am love. I am peace. So when I'm ready to, you know, be in a committed relationship, be married, it's just second nature. And that's just the foundation that I bring as an individual to that covenant, to that kind of thing. So
For me, more so, my biggest takeaway has always been that not everything done in the dark is shameful, because a lot of the stories in the book, when you think about like being in the wilderness or like a bunch, that really has always been my biggest lesson, that I can be going through something, or I can be, you know, just being super introspective and having one-on-one alone time with God, and that's done in the dark. Not everything is for the masses. Not everything needs to be televised or shown to everybody. Like, you can really just be trying, you know, get right and do that in solace. And there's nothing shameful about that. I think a lot of people put a lot of negative connotation on the dark. It's spooky, it's scary, it's bad. Oh, everything dark comes to the light. Your relationship with God is one-on-one. When you get to them gates, he's not asking about like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, wife, your kids. Like, were you a good and faithful servant? Like, am I turning you away, or am I like, yo, what's up with you? You know?
You coming on in.
So that's always going to be my biggest takeaway. I can disappear and it doesn't mean anything bad. Like, somebody can fall off the face of the earth and then just magically pop up again. Like, and all is well. All is fine.
Love that.
The one lesson that I would that I would say is that I, like my mom would always say is you have not because you ask not. And I see that, like, recently I've seen it, like the positive effects, even more. Like, you know, you don't know who will be willing to do what if you never ask.
Facts.
And then that there's like your tongue is very powerful. So, and like how in the Bible it says, death and life is in the power of the tongue. Like, that's something that I try to remember on like a daily basis, because a lot of times things can go wrong, and not like I guess the word is subconsciously, or what is it when you're not thinking about it?
Subconscious.
Okay, all right, subconsciously thinking about it. Like we might just say, yo, this or something negative that might really like be innocent, but it really is powerful because we're putting it out there in the atmosphere. So I try like to remain like thoughtful and say, all right, even though I might think it, all right, I'm better than that. I'm having a better than yesterday. Like, so it's just very important to me, like, to make sure that I try to, you know, watch my tongue, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love that, man. I'll say, dang, this was a great conversation, bro.
It was.
I actually got one more point. Sorry.
Go ahead. Well,
For everybody, anybody, you know, remind yourself to give yourself grace. And that's because, you know, we're all trying to figure things out in life. And I'm sure we all, to some degree, have somebody in some part of the world that's like, yeah, I knew that person 5 years ago. They weren't like this now. Or, you know, you'll see on the internet where people will be like, oh, well, this person used to be that kind of way, but now they're in the church. And just, you know, so that's why I say remind yourself to give yourself grace, because the people that are on the outside looking in, when judgment day comes, because God is near, and the ones that follow Jesus Christ know. But when that day comes, like, our judgment is from God. We're not worried about being judged by anybody that looks like me. You know, you just got to focus on your faith, and that's where the strength is. That's where all the answers in life are. That's where you get your wisdom from. Even, you know, I'll be transparent and authentic. On the way up here, I was nervous. It's my first time on a podcast, first time speaking like this, first time ever.
Good job.
Appreciate it. Thank you. But I asked for this months ago when I said, you know what, how am I gonna impact change? Spreading messages. So I said podcasting. You know, already the stuff that I do with the MLB, traveling around, different community things, and literally God has just been throwing it at me all year, and it's been a great year. Don't get me wrong. It's also been a very draining year. Shout out to Danny, because of how much I was traveling. But I think that's why it's important to give yourself grace, because even though you may work a job that's draining, the other foot, you love it. So when you walk that, sometimes you got to walk that fine line and have both. And, you know, I'll piggyback a little bit off what Tiger said. You know, dark and light, that's true balance. That's true harmony. Dark in the light, light in the dark. When you're in the dark, you search for the light. You know, when you're in the light, you already know that dark is coming. And you just got to know. Granted, enjoy that time, enjoy that whatever it is, that good moment, that great moment, but also know that a challenge is coming. And a challenge isn't a bad thing. It's an opportunity to get better.
I feel like that was a really awesome conversation. I
love it.
thank y'all for sharing your
Absolutely.
stories. And I learned a lot. You know, something that's consistent is like everybody's journey is going to be different with faith. What it looks like for you, what God or faith looks like for you is always going to be different. I love the principles y'all shared. Like one, like if God can get it through you as you being a resource, he can also get it to you. I love what you shared about the power of the tongue and that not being afraid to ask because God also uses other people to help you out. And I think that tied back to what Mike was saying earlier, where he was like, faith without works is dead. Like,
dead.
like you're praying to me, but like I'm not gonna come out of the clouds and be like,
Yeah.
here you go.
It's
But,
like you're not trusting me enough.
Exactly. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you guys. I think that's a good way to close.
Yeah.
Before we close, just don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and we appreciate you for watching this episode. We hope that you were blessed from the conversation. God is love. We out.
Peace.
Rev Run.
You got him with a peace.
God is love.
One life collective, no black nemesis. One fight, protection of the black premises. This is black privilege. When they ask what this is, tell them.